Hi, this is Jeremy Kellett, Director of Recruiting here at Oakley Trucking, and I'm your host for this podcast. This is episode 44. On today's podcast, I'm joined by Mr. Colby Foster, Operations Manager here at Oakley Trucking and longtime friend. And we're going to talk a little bit about how COVID-19 has changed trucking, our perspective here at Oakley Trucking about it. We're going to, talk to you about how it's changed with customers, our owner-operators, the recruiting department, and mainly from dispatch and what they've seen. So a lot of good stuff to get into here in just a minute. But first, let's check in with Vickie Chastain on this week's Need to Know segment.
Among the biggest challenges in operating your trucking business is understanding how you and your business are taxed. You can avoid any big surprises in April using good planning and record keeping throughout the year. Minimizing your taxes, that's this week's Need to Know segment. Get help from a tax professional or business service provider that specializes in owner-operator businesses. There are a lot of different tax professionals out there, so focusing on one that specifically works with carriers and owner-operators will help make sure you're getting the right advice for your trucking businesses. I am Vickie Chastain, and that's this week's Need to Know segment.
Okay, so we have a sponsor. LubeZone is our sponsor of our podcast now, this episode, and we sure welcome them and want everybody to check out LubeZone for your preventive maintenance needs. They have preventive maintenance centers focused on oil changes and other rapid services for heavy and medium-duty trucks. Check out LubeZone.com. Okay, Mr. Colby Foster, what's going on, man? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Great. I got to let everybody know this first because a lot of people don't know this. Got Colby Foster. He's in operations here at Oakley, and he's been here 20-something years. And actually, me and him are from the same town. We grew up together, went to high school together.
Yep.
And so known each other a long time. A little town called Biggers, Arkansas, up in northeast Arkansas. What's even crazier about that is our mothers graduated together.
They sure did.
How about that?
Yeah.
So me and old Colby, we go way back. We've been friends and working together for a long time here at Oakley Trucking. So want to get his perspective and what's going on with dispatch in here in just a minute. So we kind of know, give our listeners an idea of what's going on. So first, I'd like to say, with this COVID-19 is a serious matter to a lot of people. A lot of people have lost their lives, and it's no laughing matter. And we have, as a company, have had a lot of truck drivers that have had COVID virus. And, it's thank goodness nobody has lost their life with COVID that I know of with us, any of our owner operators. But we had a lot of them that have been off sick, for sure. Got one guy still in the hospital that's been in there for 60, 70 days, and he's doing a lot better. But we're going to get his story, hopefully, when he gets out. But, it's a deal where it hits people different, and it's very frustrating when you can't figure it out to what to do with it and how to prevent it, and everybody's doing all they can by wearing masks, social distancing, and do all we can, and it's still frustrating. It is still going on. But, with that being said, I can remember, and I can't believe this is almost a year ago, Colby, when it first came out.
Yeah.
It hit, and then, we didn't take it serious, and then it started getting serious, and then everybody shut down. But what kept going during that time? Truck drivers. Truck drivers just kept going, and they were the backbone. We've always known them to be the backbone, but it came more to the forefront that these guys were the backbone, and we had to have them, and they just kept going.
That's right.
I mean, they can't hide from it. They got to keep working, and our owner operators here at Oakley proved that better than any of them. I mean, they just did a fantastic job of getting through it, because it threw a wrench in our plans.
Yeah, I believe they did a great job. They did a great job of just rolling with what we had to give them, because it got to a point where we didn't have a whole lot to offer. So we was, if you go back however long it was when we were on here the last time, we were telling them, you just might want to take that load and go. It may be out of your comfort zone, may not be regional or whatever, but, we don't have hardly any.
I mean, that was
But
back
sure,
in what,
you know,
March
Yeah, it was March.
20? I mean, it just shut things down and was frustrating. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I can't say enough about our guys hanging in there with us.
Better believe it. That's right.
Didn't hardly lose any of them. They hung in there, and we kept them busy,
Yeah,
and they
did
kept
great.
things going for us. So it was. We appreciate you guys for doing that. It was really good. I called a few of our owner-operators to try to get an idea of what they're going through this past year and how things have changed with COVID-19 being everywhere. How have things changed for them? So I got a few responses here from some of our owner-operators on some of the things that changed. And, of course, you know, the first one was the mask now is it's common now. You used to.
Yeah. Common part of PPE.
Common part of PPE.
Yeah.
You know, they say the mask mandates are everywhere now. Everybody's
Sure.
got to have it at customers. A lot of them want them to stay in their truck, even loading and unloading. So now I talked to some drivers, and they said they kind of like that. You know, some
Well,
places
sure they do. Yeah.
some
Yeah.
places has made it easier, you know, to stay in your truck
Right.
and get loaded or unloaded. But some customers won't let you out of it, which is frustrating. But you know, that's a couple of the things. They said the customers are a little more standoffish than they used to be, you know, which I understand that. I mean,
Well, yeah, they're scared.
Scared.
You know, they don't want to get sick, so it's pretty.
and you know, they think, which I guess I get, you know, truck drivers have been everywhere. You know, we got them going
Been all over the place.
all over the place, state to state, and they come to a shipper receiver, they automatically think, well, he's been everywhere. He may have it, you know.
Right.
And to me, truck driver's about the most isolated person there is. I mean, he's most of the time in that truck
By
and
himself.
by himself and not
That's
around
right.
a lot of people.
That's right.
And I think we've seen that.
Not a lot of interaction with others at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, so I know that's, you know, a little bit changed on their end. They said they have to get, a lot of places they got to get their temperature taken,
Yep.
answer some questions, you know, about, I guess, COVID questions.
Have they been in contact with
Contact
it?
with
You know, in the
anybody.
last X amount of days, or have you
Have
been
you-
sick?
Have you heard any issues with them having, I mean, like customers changing, things getting a little more difficult to?
Not really. You know, I don't. I think they went to that pretty quick. You know, the guidelines: don't get out of your truck. I mean, first and foremost, it was you roll in here, don't get out of your truck. All right, talk to us over the radio. You know, and it made the communication a little more difficult. But you know, a lot of people, you know, they used to call in and say that guy, he needs to get out of his truck and he come in here and see what we want to do. Now it's no. You tell them stay in there. Get a hold of us on that radio. We'll have a big sign out there tells them what channel to get on and do it.
Amazing how things have changed.
That's amazing. That's right.
You know, everybody, because now, you don't shake anybody's hand. You got a mask on, maybe a hat, maybe even sunglasses. I mean, to what we considered a year ago was a criminal is now
You
is
don't
now
know.
normal. You
Yeah,
know,
that's right. That's right.
I don't know. You
Yeah.
know, and it's everybody's just more. What do they call that? I mean, you're just real particular on who you're around, and you know what
Right.
you've been touching, or who's touching you, who's breathing on you,
Who's breathing on you.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Oh yeah, they're real particular.
Which you know, can't make light of it. That's how the thing. That's how it happens. I guess that's how you get it. So. A lot of people, they said a lot of our drivers said that they carry a lot of stuff with them for that. The Lysol, hand sanitizer, vitamins, you know, they're carrying things like that that they used to didn't carry
Right.
in their
Yeah.
truck. So they've added that. And they said, one of the biggest problems was the eating. I think when it first closed, restaurants closed, minimum amount to sit down, you know, it was.
Well, I couldn't imagine. But when this first hit, I was in Dallas with Jason Webb, and it was, you know, we made our way down there, went to a few different places, and I won't say it was on a Tuesday or Wednesday. It really hit us when we didn't have any problem getting a hotel room downtown Dallas, and then when you got in your room and you only paid about $100 for it, there wasn't anybody else in there with you. So now you're thinking, where am I going to eat? can I go anywhere and eat? You know, and then you get to thinking, well, am I going to be able to get gas to get back? You know, that's the extreme, but now that's stuff that goes through your head. And these guys are the same way. They're out there, Lord knows where. You know,
Yeah, it's places.
Am I going to be able to go into truck stop? That's the only thing I'm used to doing. I can't whoop through McDonald's
and that was a big
or
deal.
anywhere.
Yeah, right then when it happened is truck stops.
What are you going to do?
Shutting down and not letting you in, and get you a refill on your mug. I mean, they
Right.
changed
You can't go to the bathroom.
I think
there's a lot of stuff.
From talking to some of them, a lot of that they've let up on a lot of that and relaxed a little bit more on some of that stuff, to where either that or the drivers getting used to it. I mean, they're dealing with it.
They're dealing with it a lot better. Most places have realized, they're going to need these guys, to keep everything going. And they're going to have to find some way to accommodate, and they need to find a safe manner to do it. And I think the customers and our owner operators have both really worked together. I can't think, but right there at the beginning, we were steadily getting emails of procedures, what to do. Like, don't get out of your truck. It's a simple one. Must wear a mask. And then for the longest time, they would send them, we're serious. Tell you, guy or gal, don't get out of the truck. Well, we don't hear that anymore.
They've
gotten used to it, and so have the owner operators. I mean, they're doing their part.
Yeah. So, what has changed in dispatch is the question. What adjustments have you guys had to make in operations and dispatch to, since this COVID started, to where you're at now?
Well, the biggest thing is we've had to, we've everybody is separated. Got lucky. We had this new office building that some of you guys were in. Everybody, we were in the process of moving. So part of the people got moved over here. The rest of us stayed over in the other office, and that allowed us to separate our desk. And it's a big deal. It's a huge deal, because our preferred method of communication is to turn around and talk to whoever's beside you or whoever's way on down there. You just yell at them.
Right.
Okay. And it's a big deal. If anybody's been in here, most of the people listening probably have, our desks used to be butted up right against each other, and then you had somebody, a 2-desk width straight across from you. And that's how you communicate. And now, you come in and you hope that everyone's there. They hadn't had to call in and say, well, I've been exposed. And then
what happens then?
Well, if they're sick, they can't work. Somebody has to fill in that gap, take up their slack, and what I mean by that is in dispatch, you got, everybody has their own set of trucks. Well, those trucks got to keep rolling. So somebody's got to make sure those trucks are taken care of. They got to have loads, and then you got all this other stuff that goes along with getting a load, and somebody has to take care of that. Well, if they can work, then we've been really lucky that most people who've been off can work from the house. Well, that's another issue. That's not our preferred method of communication. It's better than none, but then you go to text messaging, emailing, instant messenger, stuff that we don't like.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I get frustrated with that, because somebody will send an email, then they'll send an instant messenger, and then a text. I'm like,
then you go, you try to call them. Like, I remember poor Russell, he was at home, and, I've got this, he says, I've got this instant messenger, just type me a note or something. And I'm going to pick up the phone and call him.
Right.
Pick up my desk phone and call him, pick up my cell phone, call him. Finally, I just sent him a text or something. So it's hard. And then you got to take into consideration that our customers, they're working. Thank goodness, after that dry spell we went through, where freight has picked up so much that, those customers have come back. Yeah. Thank goodness. And then they want to know, they want an answer now. Well, that goes back to us just yelling down at the other end of the room
when they can get a truck.
When they can get a truck, or where's the truck at?
Yeah,
that's a big one that drives everybody crazy. Where's he at? Well, then you gotta,
because the customer calls in, asks the dispatcher, where's so and so at. Then we gotta
find out where he's at.
Or
so
they call you as operations manager.
Yeah. So in an instance like that, we've taken to, you pull up the OmniTrax and you can, operations managers, pretty much everybody in the building now, in the dispatch will pull up and we can see where the guy is. Now you don't know exactly where he's at. You don't know, how much time he's got left. I don't know. Like, this guy hasn't moved in so many hours. I don't know if he's still asleep or not. Now, his dispatcher might know. He may have already called his dispatcher, but his dispatcher's at home. So what do you do? And then, what we don't want to do, and we've made a pretty big deal of it in the past, is, if the guy's sleeping, if he's sleeping, you let him sleep.
Right.
Okay. You don't want to wake him up. So what do? His dispatcher probably knows, or knows what he should be doing. Well, I don't.
Right.
I'm just answering the phone, and that guy's working from home. So
have the customers changed, like their loading hours or pickup hour? Any of that stuff changed? That's all pretty much normal, isn't it?
Well, most of it is. Now, we used to back when, like I say, during the dry spell, they did change their hours. They cut back shifts. They didn't have anybody working. So they cut back hours. If they may run 24 hours, but now that 7 days a week, now they're 12 hours a day on, if they're lucky, they're 12 hours a day working 5 days, and not just completely. The plant's not completely shut down. Now they're pretty much back to normal.
I was talking to Russell down there yesterday, because he sits down there not far from me, and we were talking about this podcast and talking about COVID and how things have changed, and he told me, he said one customer required them to, the customer said, we're going to send you the bill of lading, and then you send it to the driver. They didn't want to hand it.
Really?
They didn't want it was no touch with the driver. They wanted it to go through us. Now, Russell said that's only happened with that one customer, but hoping that don't happen you're talking about a nightmare there.
You better believe it. And that just adds to everything else going on.
Yeah.
Communication. That's just another step that you have to take that you hope is right.
But right now we got everybody's pretty much. I mean, we've had some dispatchers we've had recruiting guys. We've had a lot of people in the office that have had the virus and have recovered fine and moving on. But dispatch is operating pretty good now. The hoppers are in the new office. Everybody else that dumps tanks and are in the old office still, all separated out and communicating the best everybody can. When's the last time you went to see a customer?
It was in Dallas.
Last year
what
when
I
they
was talking
came
about earlier in March. It was last March. You better believe it. It's the longest time. I got thinking about it the other day. I think I was telling Webb. This is the longest stretch that I have been in the office and not left or see anybody do anything for any reason in probably 12, 13 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
probably longer, but it's,
I know it. It's changed things. I haven't gone to Oklahoma like I normally do and visit those guys just because it's a changing deal. And one of the probably the worst things that's happened is we've lost this face-to-face contact with our owner-operators.
Sure.
We've not been able to come in and see them very much at the office. They can still come in now. We're getting more and more to come in, but not near like we used to. I mean, it was just all the time. You had somebody at your desk talking to the guys and getting
all the time.
I mean, it was all the time. It was fantastic. Yeah. And ever since COVID hit, it's cut way back on that. So, it's a little frustrating for us. We still try to talk to them and see them as much as possible. We try to encourage everybody to get over here to the new office and come see us. It's a great place over here. We don't get a lot of guys coming in here. So, want to encourage everybody to do that. So, sure. Anything else you want to add from dispatch point of view on anything that's COVID's changed, plus or minus for us?
Well, the minus part would be, trying to chase down some money from some of your customers that you don't normally have to, because those folks, accounting people writing the checks, they're working at home.
Ah,
that's a big deal.
Didn't think about that.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
We pay. And we tell our owner operator, you're gonna get paid. You're gonna work a week, and you're gonna get paid the next week. Well, we don't, and then you add this on top of that, it just makes it tough. I mean, you want to have a good relationship with that customer, but you still, we got bills to pay too. So they're going to
change their way of working.
Change their way of working, and just it delays everything.
Because a lot of people went to working from the house and they hadn't come back. Thank goodness we haven't done that.
Well, that's
we can't stand it.
We can't. We're not. It's not our preferred method.
We're not like that. Thank goodness. No. But there's a lot of people that have done that. I've talked to people that have gone and working from home and never went back yet.
That's right.
And may not. I
can't do it.
I can't do it. Okay. Another thing here I was going to cover to let our listeners know is the recruiting aspect. How it's changed the recruiting owner-operators in general. It's been a challenge over this past year with several things. One, we get a lot of first-time owner-operators that come to Oakley. About half of every class, every week in orientations just came from being a company driver to owner-operator, buying their first truck. Well, what we found out now with the dealerships lately, the financing has gotten a little tighter for whatever reason.
Right.
Financing has tightened up on guys on getting that truck, so it's made it a little bit difficult for that. That's resulted in us not be able to lease on as many trucks as we normally would, and the pool in general, the driver pool in general has diminished because just some things I've read is the schools that they used to come into, the CDL schools have changed. They have not taken in as many drivers. They're not putting out as many
students
with CDLs. That's happened a lot. So that means, those are the guys we're getting down the road.
Right.
When we're having that. So 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, those guys become owner operators. Couple more things, but first, I want to take a minute and talk to you about Lube Zone. Everybody out there, I want to tell them about our sponsor, Lube Zone. These guys I'm proud to say, is our first official sponsor of the Oakley Podcast, and it's with Jeff Porter. I mentioned this before. I've known him for a long time, and he's done a great job. And Lube Zone is something that, if you guys don't know them, I want you to check into them. First, they're giving $40 off to Oakley owner operators on a PM. So you want to check that out. They're giving some discounts on generator APU service and on some trailer packages too. Also, we got social media. Yeah, that's right. Hunter, he always reminds me of this. He did last time. You need to check out all of our social media on Oakley, because Lube Zone is giving away. They gave us some gift certificates to give away. And you got to sign up to our social media, Facebook, Instagram. What else, Hunter? Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Yeah. So you got to check on that. But Lube Zone, what they are is a fast-growing network of preventive maintenance centers focused on oil changes and other rapid services for heavy and medium-duty trucks. They provide PM services to over-the-road trucks in as little as 30 minutes, allowing vehicle operators to maximize their time on the road. They have 11 locations throughout Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and California. They've got 3 down there in Houston, Brookshire, and Baytown, which we are down there a lot. And informed our owner operators they need to be looking for Lube Zone down there. The biggest thing that Jeff and Megan wanted me to go over was the rewards program they've got. You need to check out LubeZoneRewards.com because you can earn $100 for every friend you refer to LubeZone. Now that's a heck of a deal right there. They don't do points, but they pay you money. So everybody check out LubeZone.com. Okay, on finish up recruiting. I was just getting started on talking about how the pipeline has slowed down, Colby, from the CDL schools not taking in as many people. Some of them shutting down. So you can just imagine that's the beginning of the pipeline of getting truck drivers into the system, and we're already 60 to 70,000 drivers short, they say, in the United States of truck drivers. We're seeing that. So it's made it very difficult for us in the recruiting department to be able to lease on guys because they're not. One, now everybody's busy.
Right.
We're seeing that. I mean, we're busy. Everybody's busy, so it's hard to lease on a busy man. When he's making money and busy doing something else, it's hard.
He doesn't want to leave.
He doesn't want to leave, and it's a challenge sometimes. But and we've had to change our orientation. You can't, we kind of keep them spaced out and doing good. So, it's made that a little bit difficult. So, things that we wasn't used to in recruiting, we're trying to figure out now. We're having to be more conscientious about guys' health and quizzing them before they come to orientation, making sure they ain't been exposed and had any problems. We've had that happen one time, and that was a little frustrating, but it happens. So, I just this COVID thing's affected everybody. It's affected.
You bet.
It's affected us, but I'm gonna tell you, we have come through this better than I would have ever imagined, and I'd say better than most trucking companies have come through it.
Yeah. I'm proud. I'm proud of everybody. I'm proud of the owner operators, dispatch. I mean, everybody involved. Because it's frustrating. You don't know. You can do your best and you still get sick. Or somebody. One of your kids get exposed and then you have to stay at home, or the owner operators running around out there, they're not with anybody. So that's a plus, for them. I mean, it is a big plus, and they can keep everything going. But man, everybody's been great. They really have.
Well, and now that I'm not saying we're out of the woods by no means. But the vaccines are out and people are getting it. And I know we had a conversation the other day about taking the vaccine. You called me an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. I'm not sold on that yet. But
got to play the percentage.
I gotta figure that out yet.
That's right.
That's a whole other conversation.
We'll continue that one later.
Yeah. But it's great to be with a company like Oakley to where we see the big picture. We're fighting for our owner operators and our customers to come through this thing. We've got somewhat are dealing with it now to an extent. We're dealing with it and we're making it work.
Right.
And now, now I feel like it's back to, even though it's not back to normal, but for us, it's back to, hey, we got loads to cover. We need some trucks.
It's back to, that's our normalcy right there. Yeah. It's for us it is now. We got loads, let's cover them.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's it. Whoever needs a load, well, let's find one.
Yep.
That's what we do. It's what we've done since day one. I mean,
you get these
great too.
You get these hiccups like this COVID all last year, and the last one was back in the crash of 08 and 09. That kind of stuff, and we've come through it. I mean, doing really good. So it's things are looking up. What do you? I'll throw this curveball at you. What's your prediction this year with freight?
I think it's going to stay strong. We've talking to several of the people that I talk to. You can talk to them, and they'll tell you we're going full bore until sometime in August, and then we'll reevaluate about then. So I'd say the first half of the year is looking great. It really is, and there's still some people out there, some customers that haven't gone back to full time. They still got a ways to go to get ramped back up. So you got those people coming on too. So
more on top of
more on top of what we've already got. So yeah, I mean it's right now it's looking really
great
good.
Time to be an owner operator.
It is a wonderful time to be an owner operator.
Yeah,
yes it is.
We just need to get more of them over here. What areas? I mean, are we focused on right now as far as the majority of your freight?
We're seeing just a boom over on the East Coast and the Carolinas.
Yeah.
Up and down that whole East Coast corridor. Last week or two, California. So, we do a lot of stuff. Probably, depends on what division you're in. You got 500 or 600 mile hauls. Now we're seeing those stretched out. Of course, pretty much anything going out west is a good one. When you get out there, it's like everybody says, you got to come back.
Yeah.
Same to, on the East Coast, we keep you busy. The Southeast region right now is booming, but, honestly, everywhere. It is.
Yeah. That's what we get when recruiters, we ask dispatch, hey, where do you need trucks? And they're like, in the office.
Yeah,
well, I mean, here leasing on right now.
Right now. We just
need
need
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get this.
We've got a fit for somebody.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, just a matter of piecing it together.
I don't see it changing, and you can go back to, this summer when the freight was tough, we kept everybody busy then, so I can't imagine it getting that slow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I mean, at all.
Right.
I mean, I would be, you'd be shocked. It'd be, but that's what those guys do, man. If it were to slow down, they're going to keep you busy.
Yeah, they're good at it.
They're good at it.
Good at it.
You bet.
Well, okay. Man, Foster, I appreciate you visiting with me, man. Good stuff.
I appreciate you calling me up.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah, glad to do it. Glad to get some of this word out there. I hope it helps our owner-operators and all our listeners, of course, to understand what's going on at Oakley. I think that's part of the reasoning behind this podcast is to give them some insight of things that they wouldn't normally know, unless they talk to us. And unfortunately, they're not talking to us in the office anymore. Very few. I mean, we are some, and we encourage you guys to get back in the office and come visit with us.
Come visit with us if you can.
Yeah.
Wear your mask. Come on in. We'll figure out who you are.
You betcha. It's good. Good stuff. Be sure now is a great time to become an owner-operator with Oakley Trucking. I encourage you. Our last episode I did one with Dustin Eagle and last week, and it was great. It was talking about the 5 steps going from company driver to owner-operator. We gave them some good information there to tell how to become an owner-operator and the best way to do it. So I think y'all need to check on that one. We got good episodes coming up next, too. Every week we've got a good group here we're planning out these episodes and trying to make them interesting for everybody and for owner-operators. So be sure and stay tuned with that. And as always, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got it on YouTube now. You can watch us. Can you believe that, man?
I cannot believe it. You didn't tell me that.
2 old boys from Vickers, Arkansas.
Right.
You mean they don't want to watch us? So it's good stuff. Y'all can watch us on YouTube. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and all that. Be sure and subscribe. Share it with your friends. Share it with our other owner-operators. And as always, we appreciate you guys listening. We'll talk to you next week.